Okay. So now we want to set up our document. So we have our Plaid, and even if you don't have your Plaid, you can still set up your document, and then you can always watch the video or follow the handout and just do the Plaid later and then add it in, right? So, but let's set up our host document for this. So we're going to go File, New, and let's see. I think it's only 8.5 by 11. Let's see. Yeah, it's 8.5 by 11. So that would be a regular page. Let's see. Well, I could type it in, right? But it's usually under print. So letter size, 8.5 by 11, and we want a wide page. Do a wide page. Technically, if you did a portrait page, it's okay, but I highly recommend it's a landscape page. Okay, so landscape means it's the wide page. 300 pixels per inch, inches, RGB, create. So here we go. So I got a blank page. I'm going to pull it down so we can see it. I am going to close my other files. I don't think I need those. Oh, man. Okay. And now you get to decide. So like, what's the look of your design? Who's your customer? You know, is it teens? Is it mature? Is it camping? I'm gonna do gaming just for fun. So I'm gonna do, my theme is gonna be gaming. So it's gonna be plaids for whatever, flannels for gamers, right? And so let's see, there's my document. So the first thing I need to do, is, well, let's set up our groups, right? Let's set up our groups. I'm just going to set them up. So let's see, I'm going to make a new group. You can click on, let's see, there's a lot of different ways on how to make groups. A lot of you did well on the last project. You could click down here to make a new group, and then you can name it. So like, I want to have one group for my background. I'm going to do it the other way. If I go to my, here, I'm going to drag this out so you can see it. If I go to my option button for layers, I can go new group, and then I can name it right away. This is the way I like to do it. I want to have one for my colorway. Right? Is that like 2 words or 1 word? I don't know. It's 2 words today. And then I want to have one new group for my text. And basically my colorway is basically going to be my 3 swatches, right? And so that's it. So if you want, you can use more groups, but you don't have to. So in my background group, I'm going to put, there's going to be 2 layers that make up my background, or more. You could do more if you want. And then, but 2 minimum, right? And then there's going to be a 3rd layer that's going to be your consumer, right? So whether it's and it's going to match. So like, I'm going to get a gaming dude. You know, you might get a young woman. You might get a model. You can even get pictures. You can even snap pictures with your phone. If you snap a picture of your phone and whatever, get it into your computer, either email it to yourself or somehow get it. You can take pictures of friends. I really don't care what images you use. Just be creative and make it look good. That's what really matters. But I'm going to show you how to find them on the internet. It's hard sometimes to find good images on the internet, but you can definitely just get them from the internet. And then let's see the colorway. We're going to make our swatches. Boy, should we do let's do our colorway real quick and just get that out of the way. So let's do that real quick. So I have my, I'm going to select the correct group. So I'm going to select my colorway. Then I'm going to use my, well, first I want to make a fill layer. So I'm going to make, let's see, how do I want to do this? There's 2 different ways to do this. Let me show you the way that I like to do it first. So I make a new layer, an empty layer here, and let me make my layers bigger so you can see them. Okay, so I just made a new blank layer, and you're going to have to name that. So like, I'll name it Plaid 1 or something like that. But for now, it's just layer 1. Then I'm just going to go edit fill, and I want to fill it with my pattern. So let's see, I want my last pattern, and I'm going to hit OK. It's going to fill that whole layer. right? Oh, well, I'll give you, oh boy. I don't care which filter you use. I'm sorry, which pattern you use. This is my, I'm gonna undo this one. That's my unfiltered pattern. I'm gonna go edit fill. This one. Now this one had a slight seam, but see if I can find it. I will be under, oh, nice. If, okay, this is okay because my swatch is going to be smaller than the actual pattern anyways, so I'm not going to see the seam. It will have a slight seam, but if the seam is because of your filters, it's okay. Like, I'm not going to grade you against that. I basically just want to see your plaid. Okay, well, anyways, I need a swatch. Now, how big? Now, just like our other seamless patterns, we need to use the rectangular marquee. So I'm going to use my rectangular marquee. And the style of the rectangular marquee I recommend is a fixed size. Now, what is the size that I want? On your handout, I say it's anywhere from 2 inches to 3 inches. So I'm gonna do 3 inches. So 3 inches by 3 inches. And let's see what it looks like. Okay, so 3 inches by 3 inches. Then I'm going to use my rectangular marquee. I'm going to click once. It's pretty big, but I think it's okay. And then I just make a mask, right? So I'm going to go. I go to the bottom of the. So I have my selection. It's kind of hard to see. It's kind of hard to see, but there it is. And then I'm going to just my layer selected. I just click on the mask, and there it is. So there's my mask. And then I definitely want to see a stroke. So now this time though, you can use different color strokes. So maybe I'm not going to apply it yet. Well, you know, I'm going to apply it. So how do I make a stroke? I go to the, I make sure the layer is selected. I click on the FX button, which is the layer style effect. Even though it just says FX, it's layer style effect. So I go stroke. I'm going to start with black. Oh, I got a color. How funny. Actually, I kind of like this. I was using that for a different project. I recommend inside. Here, let me show you why. If it's on, dude, my Photoshop is it's like rebelling against me. Here you can see it. If your stroke, don't make your stroke this big, but if your stroke is on the outside, it curves around the edge, and that's no good. I mean, well, sometimes it is, but normally it doesn't look as neat. That's why I put the stroke on the inside so that it has a nice crisp edge. Illustrator has more technical options to avoid stuff like this, but Photoshop is a little more simpler when it comes to strokes. So, you know, you do what you do. But anyways, obviously I don't want my stroke to be that big. It's probably going to be like 3, 4, or 5. I'm going to do 5. I have a color green. I'm going to stick with the green for now. So I'm going to hit OK. So your stroke can be any color, you know, any size, but not too big. Okay, there it is. See, here's the thing about my swatch here. My swatch is huge. That's why if you want to make your boxes 2 inches by 2 inches, you might have more room for your background and for your model. So I leave it up to you. That's why I say your plaid swatch size can be from 2-inch square to a 3-inch square. So 2-inch might be better, but because I'll have more space, I'm going to go over for 3. Okay, so there's my first one. Oh, then I'm going to do it again. Oh, well, here's the best part. Oh, this is great. You only have to do one of these. You only have to make one of these, but then you just copy it 2 more times, right? So watch this. So I have my swatch here. This is my plaid swatch. I just want to make duplicates of this. So the easy way to make a duplicate is to use your move tool. You're going to hold your Alt key down, and you're going to drag a copy. So you can go, you know, there's one copy, and then here's my third copy. So you want to have 3 swatches of your plaid total. Boy, see, I really, I wish I made that 2 inches by 2 inches, but it's okay. 3 inches is totally fine. But now what I need to do is I need to, oh, and just let me show you one more way on how to, you only need 3 here. Let me undo that last one. Another way to make a copy of a layer is you could just go layer, like duplicate layer. Whenever you duplicate a layer, it puts it directly on top. So you have to like move it away, right? Or you can make a duplicate this way. You go layer menu, you know, duplicate layer. Where is it? Oh, here it is on top, duplicate layer. And then you just have to move it. So you just move it over. Okay, I don't care how you do it, but you have 3. Now, they have to be 3 different colors, right? They have to be 3 different colors. So we can change. Now, there's a lot of different ways on how to change colors, but to be simple, we're just going to use an adjustment layer that is clipped directly to that plaid. So for instance, my first plaid, I can just leave alone because that's the colors I picked. My second plaid, which I guess would be this one, I want to apply an adjustment layer to change the color, right? So let's do this. Now, you can do this the hard way or you can do it the easy way, right? So I'm going to show you the easy way, but we simply need to change these colors. The easiest way is to use an adjustment layer. So if you remember, the adjustment layer is the black and white circle button at the bottom of your layers panel. And probably the easiest one is hue and saturation. This isn't my favorite, but this is the easiest. So I'm going to go hue and saturation. Now, before I change anything, I want to clip it. I want to clip it to the layer directly underneath it. Because if I change it now, it's going to change more than one layer. So I'm going to undo that. I want to make it a clipping mask so it only affects the layer directly underneath it, the plaid directly underneath it. So to make this adjustment layer a clipping mask, I make sure I select it. You want to make sure that this is on top of the layer you want it to adjust. Then you go to the option for layers, which is like the 3 or 4 lines, and then create clipping mask. So now this adjustment layer is clipped or applied directly to the layer underneath. You're like, but I don't see any change. That's right. I haven't done anything yet. Usually some people like to clip it first and then change it. Me, sometimes I'm lazy. Sometimes I just change it and then I clip it. I don't care how you do it, but a lot of people like to clip it first. How do I know it's clipped? It's indented and it has this little bent arrow pointing down to the layer underneath. But don't forget, you have to change the properties. So whenever you have an adjustment layer, usually you have properties. You have a property panel that pops up. So now I'm going to change the hue. So let's see what we got here. I'm going to go. Now I'm thinking gamer. Oh, see, I don't like that. See, I don't like it that it has that light color. Okay, I don't like these. Oh, it's kind of pinkish. Let's see, I don't want it to be too pink. Let's see. Anyways, I'm being picky now. I probably shouldn't be too picky. I'm going to go for that because I'm the teacher and I'm not supposed to be so picky. But you can this is one way to do it. Now, the problem is it changes all your colors at the same time. And you're probably like, what happens if I only wanted to change like this orange thread? Can I do just that? Maybe, but it's tricky. And let's not think that if you change just one of your thread colors and it works, great. But let's not worry about that level of detail yet. There are complicated ways to change like one thread. I would rather see all your colors change, kind of like what I'm showing you. That way it just gives us a broader selection to kind of look at. And it's just easier for this assignment. We've got so much to worry about already. But technically there are certain ways that you might be able to pick one color and just change that one color, but let's not worry about that today. If you want to try to figure that out, great. Or you can talk to me about it later, but it's tricky. It's not easy. Okay, well, that's that one. Now I want to go to my third one. So let's see. Oh, my third one's on top. So again, let me try a different way to change the color. I'm going to use a different adjustment layer. So again, an adjustment layer is the black and white circle. My favorite is color balance. So let me see if color balance works pretty good. Color balance. Before I change the colors though, I'm going to clip it. So I'm going to apply it to the layer directly underneath. So I'm going to go option for layers, create clipping mask, and then I'm going to monkey with the colors. So I like red. Let me see what I can do here with red. Oh, no. Kind of, it's close. So the default value when you change with color balance is midtones. I kind of like it. I do want I want this like, it's like a light blue. I don't know if it's blue anymore. It's like a light purple now. I want this to be a little darker. I don't know if I can make it darker, but let me try. I'm going to go, instead of tone midtones, which is good, I'm going to go highlights and see if I can change that highlight color. I want it to be more bluish. Let's see what I can do here. Yeah. Oh, no. So you can manipulate these numbers. That feels pretty good. That feels pretty good. Now, that's really all you have to do. You don't have to change your first plaid, because your first plaid, you pick those colors intentionally. The second and third plaid, though, you're going to manipulate those colors with adjustment layers. If you don't want to use color balance, that's fine. Don't use color balance. Use hue and saturation. You can use hue and saturation for both. Maybe you don't like hue and saturation. Maybe you want to do color balance, or maybe even a different one, but you want to change the colors need to be different. One more thing that's real nice is that you can change an adjustment layer. So let's see, what's this middle one? Is it this one? Yeah. I'm going to adjust this one. I'm just going to double click on this. And like, I want it to be a little darker. Let me see if I can make it, oh, that looks terrible. Never mind. I can make it lighter. I don't want to make it lighter. I can make it more saturated, but I don't think I need to make it more saturated. Maybe desaturate it. Oh, maybe. Let's see. I want to put it back to 0. One good trick when you are adjusting levels is to go a little further than what you think you need, and then go back and then try to find the middle. So like, for instance, saturation here. So let's say I want to desaturate. So this is like way too much desaturation. This is too normal. So I want to kind of find something in the middle. Maybe I'm going to go with that. So I do like it desaturated a little bit. Maybe. So usually you go a little too far and then you kind of come back and then you try to find the middle. That kind of helps. Like with focusing too. When you're trying to focus like a camera, you get it out of focus, then you put it, and then you go the other way and then you try to find it in the middle. I don't know. If that helps you, great. If not, don't worry about it. But anyways, I have my 3 swatches and they look okay. So there we go. Remember, use a clipping mask. So I have, so that I can hide, the changes. And again, another important, like I said, another important reason for using clipping masks and adjustment layers is, like I said, your art director could come in and she'll have her own ideas. She'll be like, oh, I like the purple, but I want it a little more pink, or I want it more like bluish purple. Or then maybe she'll like this one. She's like, I like it, but I want that yellow to be more saturated. So I can go in and I can change these. I can change my adjustment layers. Your art director is never, they're always going to have different ideas, and it's a little frustrating. But the nice thing about Photoshop is it's an easy fix. And here's my suggestion to you. If your art director says, make that more pink, don't let her walk away. She's like, whoa, wait. So you're like, okay, you want more pink? And so I would go like this. I'd be like, okay. So I open it up and I go like, oh, I can't even make it that much more pink. So maybe she said, make it more, ooh, I'm like maxed out. So I guess I could do here, I could go shadows and I can go magenta. So I'm like, this much pink? And then she's like, no, that's too much. You're like, okay, maybe like this. And she's like, maybe a little less. I'm like, okay, maybe like that. And she's like, I don't like this now. Can I undo all this? But make sure she's over your shoulder. If she says make something more yellow, just adjust it while she's watching, because her idea of like more yellow is different than what you're thinking of yellow. And sometimes I used to do this to my art director, and it was just a quick fix. And if you can do it fast, if it takes you forever to change it, then she's not going to want to wait there. But like if she, like I said, you're like, okay, this much yellow? No, a little more. Okay, and like, no, a little less. And then she's like, okay, that looks good. And then she'll walk away. It doesn't mean she won't change her mind the next day. It just means that she helped you figure out what she meant by I want more yellow, because vague terms like that, you're not a mind reader. And so sometimes you can just do like this, you know, and you can solve it fast. And then tomorrow she's like, oh, I hate yellow. Can you make it orange? You're like, oh my gosh. But like I said, you just fix it and it's no problem. That's the wonderful thing about Photoshop and these adjustment layers, is that you can change things easily. And it's not as frustrating to change stuff when it's easy. Okay, so that's my colorway. Any quick questions about this colorway? Okay, we need text. I don't want to do my text yet. Let's go to the internet and I'm going to find some background images. So let's see, I'm going to go to the internet. I recommend Google, and I don't know what I want to search. I'm just going to find some image. I want to do, I don't know. What do I want? I don't want to do a house. I want to do, so I'm just going to do a search, concrete interior, because I'm thinking my theme is kind of like a gamer theme, right? And I'm just trying to think something that's kind of interesting. I don't know. But you would do a search. Now, the trick, the difficult part is most images on the internet are tiny. They're just too small. Why? Because they upload faster if they're lower resolution. But you need a pretty big image. You can't get a real small image and make it bigger. So here's how you can search for large images, and it's tricky. So I'm on Google, and here's how I search. I go tools. So remember this, or write it down, tools. Oh gosh, is it under, it's not under size because that's too easy. I think it's under more. Oh, is it under settings? Yes, advanced search. So you want to do an advanced search, and then image size, instead of any size, here you should be able to pick larger sizes. Yes. So you can do like larger than 2 MP, 4 MP. Let's see. Well, the pixels I need, if my host document is 11 inches in length, then that means 11 inches, if there's 300 pixels per inch, I need 3,300 pixels in length. Let me just try, I'm gonna try larger than 2 MP, and let's see what kind of images I can find. Colors in this, okay, any color. Let's see what happens. So, okay. So this one is 18, so it used to tell me, like if you hover, it'll tell you the pixels, but it's not telling me that. So if you click on it, it shows you the pixel dimensions over here in the lower, what is this, the lower left? So it's 1,800 pixels by 1,200 pixels. I need like 3,000 pixels. That's not big enough. That stinks. Let me try, ooh, I love this one. How big is this? Too small. Or no, oh, well, let's see, is that width? I think it's height by width. Let me find out. Let me copy this. So I just right click, copy, and then I paste it into my project. And then I would want to be in the background, and I'll paste, Control V to paste. Okay, let me try again, Control V. Okay, let me go back and copy this again. Copy image, click with my mouse. There it is. That looks like, that might be 2,000 pixels. But I need 3,000 pixels. Now you're like, oh, Dave, you just make it bigger, right? No, you can't do this stuff. You're like, oh, it looks fine. No, you can't make images. You can't make images bigger like that. Now, the problem is you're like, it looks fine, but you lose image quality. And if this is going to be in a book or a magazine, it's going to get, the quality on the edges is just going to be bad. You may not notice it right away, but it's bad. Although that looks really nice. So I need to find a larger size image. So I'm going to go back. So unfortunately, I need to do settings, advanced search. I'm going to try larger than 8 MP. The problem with this is there's not very many good images at this size, but this is what I'm going to go for. So let's see what we got here. Like, oh, I like, Yeah, so see how I'm limited now? I'm limited in my images. So maybe I could do a different search. Maybe I just go with one of these. I don't know. How big is this one? See, that's still not big enough. It's terrible. How about this one? And then sometimes it'll say it's a certain size, but then when you copy and paste it, it won't be the right size. See, this stinks. Okay.
Does it have to be 3000 by 3000 or can it be bigger?
Oh, definitely bigger. Oh yeah, it can
Okay.
always be bigger. If it's way too big, you just shrink it down. Oh yeah. Yeah, in fact, that's a good problem. That's a very good problem. Yeah, so I'm kind of bummed that I can't. Stinks. I don't want to. And the other problem is too, a lot of these are portrait. So like maybe I wanted this one, but it's tall, it's not wide. Oh, this one says it's 4,000. This is such an ugly picture. Oh, what's this one? I love it. See, now I'm getting too picky. See, now I'm having too much fun. You guys are supposed to have fun. I'm going to go for this one. I want to see if this is an ugly picture, but at least it should be big enough. So I'm going to copy image, and then I'm going to go back to my Photoshop, and I'm going to paste. So let's see this one. Dude, that ain't no 4,000 pixels. It's close. Okay, well, I'm gonna do, so what you can do is, if you're having a hard time, you can always go abstract or something more common. So like I could do like, I like to do outdoor stuff. So like I can do forest scene. Let's see. I got to do settings. That stinks. I got to do this advanced search every time. I wonder if I can pick landscape. Aspect ratio. Wide. The problem is that's still going to limit me. Okay, I think I used this one before. This one's funny. I like this one. Oh, it's not big enough. Okay, darn it. I got to find something. Let's see what we got here. Not big enough. This is terrible. My life. Oh, I love this one. Please be big enough. Okay, I'm just going to pick something. First thing I find. This one's so cool. Okay, I'm going with this one. It's not big enough. Okay, let's paste it, see if it fits. See, that I don't understand. It said it was only, oh, maybe it was big enough. Okay, so I finally found one. Great. Okay, now what's the, I'm gonna hide my colorway for now. And let's look at this image. So I wanna construct a background image. And there's a lot of different things you can do. You wanna name it. So you wanna name your layer. So I got forest. I want it to be a smart object. So I'm gonna go, so just right click, make it a smart object. Make your background images smart objects. That way, if you do a filter, you can undo it, right? And then but your colorway, your swatches, these do not need to be smart objects. Now, when we saved our pattern originally, it was a smart object, but then this is just a fill of a pattern, so it's just a layer. That's okay. These are just samples, if that makes sense. The background images, yes, I would like them to be smart objects. So I have, well, I've got 1, 2, and these other ones aren't big enough. Now I have one nice background image, and the second image can simply be a pattern. Sometimes it's easier to find large size patterns. Like for instance, let me just do a search. And basically your background is gonna be somewhat abstracted. At least that's kind of the goal. So your goal should just be to have fun and make some kind of abstracted background, kind of like this one. Like it's kind of abstracted, or this one even, right? It kind of looks like a leafy design, like an outdoor feel. But I leave it up to you. It can be more quote unquote natural looking or real looking. but it doesn't, it's easier to do something that's abstracted like this. And you can just have fun with the colors. I don't know, whatever you want. So let's see, I'm going to go, so back to Photoshop. So now I want to find a pattern. So not back to Photoshop, back here. So I want to do, there's like all kinds of patterns. There's like glitter is an easy one, glitter pattern. Let's see. And glitter's popular. Whoa, what am I doing here? Advanced search. And any size, I want larger than a 8MP. I want, where was it? It was, oh my gosh. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. Wide. Ooh, okay, so I want to find one. Oh, I love this one. How big is it? See, it's putting the width first, so this one's big enough. I'm desperate, so actually I don't like this one for what I'm trying to do. How about this one? Nope, not big enough. Okay, I'm going for this one. Copy image. I don't like it, but I'm doing it. I'm using it. Okay, I'm going to paste it. Control V. Okay, now I can't see my image because it's underneath my forest, so I'm just going to drag it on top. Okay. Oh, it's not big enough. It's close. It's close. Now this is just going to be a pattern. One thing you can do, and I hate to tell you this, is if it's going to be a pattern, if it's going to be heavily filtered, you can almost make it a little bigger. And that's what I'm going to do. So this one's not big enough. It's close. So first, I'm going to make it a smart object. So I'm going to right click, make a smart object. Okay. Now I am going to make it bigger. Normally, you don't make these things bigger. How am I going to make it bigger? I hit Control T. I'm just going to stretch it out so that it fits. Another way I could have transformed it is I could have used my Move tool, and then I could have checked marked Show Transform Controls. Then it always shows me this bounding box, which is basically I call it the transformation box, but they call it in Illustrator, it's called the bounding box. Whenever you do a transformation, whether you make it smaller or bigger, you hit Enter. You have to press Enter to confirm it. Okay, so there it is. Now, I want to heavily filter this so that I don't see the pixelation. Technically, if you abstract your image, and this usually works really well with patterns, right? If you have a pattern and you heavily filter it and change it, then you don't notice the strange pixelation as much. So it's kind of like a workaround. It's kind of like I allow it. And then I ask people, like a long time ago, and don't get into the habit of making images bigger because you never make images bigger. But like I would do stuff like this, and my art director, she wouldn't notice because I changed it so much. And then I lowered the opacity. You'll see. So anyways, the first thing I want to do when I look at filters is I want to look at my foreground and background color, because some of the filters use your foreground and background colors. So right now I have green and white. If I don't want to have green and white, like I could do black and white, that'll give me black and white filters, but maybe that'll work. But I want some color. So I'm going to go for and again, this is where you pick, right? I'm going gamer. I kind of want to go, I don't know what I want. I'm going to go blues, maybe for PlayStation. So let's see, I'm going to go blue. I don't know if I want to do white. Maybe I want to do like a light gray. I'm not big on gray, but okay, so I got blue and light gray. Okay, so now anyways, I'm going to go to my filters. So I'm going to go filter gallery, and now I can start modifying this thing like crazy. So let's see, I'm going to zoom out here. Let's see, maybe I want paint dabs. Oh, maybe. And then now another thing that you can do with filters is that on the far right, the upper right, you have settings, and you want to like play around with these because you don't want to have just a regular filter. Like people like me, like we can see them. Like I remember I was watching a PBS show, and at the end credits, it was like, I could tell they did something like this, but they didn't change the settings. And I'm like, oh, that's like a plastic wrap and like a poster edge. Like they just did those. Like I could tell it's kind of cheesy. But if you manipulate these numbers and try to get the look, try to modify these, and then maybe combine them, you can create unique looks that aren't as predictable and look nice. Okay, well, anyway, so I'm manipulating them. I don't know if I like this yet, but I'm gonna experiment. You could also use more than one of these. So that's paint dabs. I'm gonna drag this to be on top. You can also drag these to be on top. Okay, so here's angled edges, and I'm gonna pick a different one. Let's try dark, no, where's Sumi? Sumi, let me try Sumi. Okay, so Sumi normally makes things dark. Now you can see that I'm experimenting and I'm kind of talking my way through it. So let's see, I want this to be dark. Oh, there we go, stroke pressure. This looks gross. And then dark. I don't like it. Okay, and then finally, let me see if I can do something else. I don't recommend more than 3. You can do just one filter if you want. You can do just one filter, but if you do more than 3, they start to cancel out each other's effects. So you can do as many filters as you want altogether, but they start to cancel each other out. Another thing you can do is you can double up one. Like I can double up Sumi, and it gives me like a double. Oh, see, actually, I kind of like this. It will double up that effect. And so sometimes you can really exaggerate it. Like I like this because I like the texture. So maybe I want to double up Sumi a 3rd time. Okay. So maybe this is what I want. I don't like these colors though. So I'm just going to hit OK though. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm having too much fun here. Sketch. Okay, let me try photocopy. Oh, halftone. This is my favorite. Halftone. Yes. Okay, and then I want the size on my halftone to be huge. There we go. Okay, so you can see, so filters are you experimenting, you trying to figure out what you like. There's a lot of different things to look at. Maybe you did a lot of this work already in your intro class, and so you're like, oh, I totally know what I want. Now, I don't know if this is going to look good in my project, but this is something that I'm liking. So I'm going to hit OK. So I'm going to hit OK, and there it is. It's like applied. Now, the nice thing is if my art director came in and she said, like, what are you doing with the blue? Like, I don't want the blue. I want it to be gold again. Well, because my image was a smart object, I can double click on this and I can throw those away or change them. So anyways, it's nice. Now, there's one more thing I can do. I can also change the opacity. So watch, so here it is. I got to name this. I'm going to name this like, it looks like bubble texture. So bubble texture, you're going to name your layers. This is going to be, I got forest. I'm not going to use these, like that's gone. I might use that chair. Okay, so I got bubble texture. Now I could lower the opacity so that it blends. Yuck, that doesn't look good. Or I can change the blending mode. So right now the blending mode is normal. So it acts normally, but I can try different kinds of, don't like the effect, different kinds of effects. So multiply will make white disappear or light gray fade. So you can see that my light gray is fading. Yuck. Ooh, ooh. I like this. It's really dark though. Lighten does the opposite. Lighten keeps the light colors and then the darker colors fade and then black would disappear. All right. Oh, so anyways, you can get a look like until you like it. Let's see. I like, this is ugly. I feel so embarrassed for this one. Let's see. Ooh, I like this one. Ooh, I like that. Okay, so I like that. Now I like it because it's warm in color. And let's see my colorway. My colorway is going to stand out almost too much. So maybe I want to brighten this some more. No, I don't want to brighten it, but maybe I want to add some color to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add, in my background, I can add a color. Watch this. I'm going to go option. This is another option you have, solid color. And I want it to be more purple. I'm going to hit OK. Now, here's the thing. This solid color purple covers up all of my background layers, right? But what I can do is I can lower the opacity, right? Ooh, I like that. Or what I can do is I can change the blending mode of this color layer to be color mode. Or I can pick one of these. Ooh, some of these look good. Darker color. Ooh. Like that looks good. But what I'm kind of meaning to do, oh, I don't like that. I like this. Okay. So you can experiment and you can kind of scroll through those and get a look. Now, this is maybe too much light purple. Well, let's see what my colorway looks like. Actually, it's kind of matching my colorway. So maybe I'll keep this. And then maybe I'll move my colorway down because I like this up here. Like you can have your colors on the top, on the bottom, in the middle, whatever you want. Okay, that looks good. I still have some room for my type. But what I was going to say is I could adjust the opacity of this. So maybe I want that purple, but not so much. Maybe I only want it like 80%. Yeah, like that's 77. So you can adjust the opacity too. Maybe you don't want a slight effect, or maybe you want a big effect. You can adjust the opacity of that. So I have an extra layer in my background. Oh, no, I want that 77. And you can type in the number too. Like I want 82%, you type it in. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now, looking at that, I want to change my, the stroke outline on my swatches is like a green. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to change my stroke. I'm going to double click on my stroke here. Instead of green, I want to be purple. In fact, maybe I want to be, see, I can pick a color in here, but I can go outside. Maybe I want to be this orange. That's kind of like a salmon. I'm going to go for it, salmon. So I'm going to hit OK. I changed this one. And so I'm going to hit OK. So I got that salmon color. And now I'm going to hold the Alt key and drag it on my other ones. So that's just a way to copy layer styles. We talked about that before. You don't have to do it that way. Like I could go in and adjust every stroke individually, or I could save that salmon color. Like I could do this. Eyedropper, salmon color. So I saved it. Well, it's in my foreground color. Then I could go, I don't like to do it this way. Click here on the stroke, click on the color. And instead of picking the color here, I could just pick it from my foreground, right? Hit OK, hit OK. That's another way to do it. Or I can simply just drag it. So I'm gonna drag a copy of the stroke and add it here. So I'm gonna hold the Alt key, drag a copy of the stroke and put it here, and let's see if that worked. Nope. Oh, because I got two strokes now. Really? So I gotta throw one away. That's cool. So I'm going to throw away the top stroke. I hope I threw away the right one. Yeah. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. Now, I don't care how your background works, but you can see that by, let's see, what do I have? By using texture layers, by using other images, by lowering the opacity, you can make a composite. Like I have a composite. A composite is more than one image kind of coming together to make an image. I've got the purple. I have, you don't have to use purple. You really only need two. I got these weird bubble textures. I got my forest, and it's kind of creating an interesting background. Let me show you one more thing though. Sometimes your background is so interesting. Sometimes your background is so interesting that it is distracting. But remember, what's the focus of your presentation? The focus of your presentation is your plaids, not the cool background. So like if people are looking more at your awesome background, usually because if it has a lot of contrast, like, whoa, look at that cool background. How'd you do that? And people are not looking at your plaids. One thing that you can do is you can subdue your background by doing something like this. You can have a solid color layer. So again, I go to the black and white circle, solid color. Maybe I want to be that purple or a purple. And then I could just lower, now I can keep it normal mode, but I lower the opacity and it's solid. So it's not so dominant. Like here, so here I've got like a purple at normal blending mode at like 82%, it kind of covers up and washes out the contrast. So that's something I recommend. But boy, does that look good, right? So, but I do want to see, so maybe I'll just put this at maybe like 50% there. So it's a little subdued. Maybe you notice those. But I leave it up to you and to have fun and to try to figure these things out. Finally, I need a model. So, oh my gosh, let's see here. Let me see if I can find, so I want to find a gamer. I find a girl gamer. Let's see. I could get a dude. Oh, here's a girl gamer. Let's see. Ha, look at this. She's so cool. Let's see. Gaming's for everybody, guys. See, the problem is she's going to be difficult to mask out, but she would be fun. Now that's if my colleagues had a sense of humor. If my colleagues had a sense of humor, I would totally go for this. But probably if they said, yeah, get a girl gamer. Oh, this one's cool, but I'd probably go for this one. She's probably such a generic image though. So you might want to, like I said, this is where you take pictures of your friends or just do it like you search maybe on the second page, but I'm definitely, she's kind of perfect for this. So I'm going to go for her. So I'm going to do copy image. I'm going to bring her back in. Okay, paste. She's tiny. Okay, so I would probably try to find a bigger image, but for now I'm just gonna deal with it. Now, if you have like a full body figure, you want to mask them out. You want to mask out your person. Now, do I make this person a smart object? Yes. So I'm going to make a smart object first. So I'll go convert to smart object. Then what I would do is, I'm not going to do this perfectly, but let's imagine that I perfectly traced around her and made a mask. Let's imagine I did this perfectly. I'm going to include, oh, that was terrible. That was not perfect. Oh, so here's another problem. My computer monitor is like not complete. That stinks. Okay, well, let's imagine I perfectly did this and everything looks great. Okay, I'm gonna mask her out, right? And then, but you would take your time, right? Now, notice this. This is just an extra tip. How much time do we have? We got a little more time. See how terrible it looks that my computer got clipped here? And you're like, man, obviously my mask looks like crap. So I would go in, I could go in and fix it actually. Let's see, I'm gonna fix it barely. Let's see. Paintbrush, black, mask is selected. I can go in here and I could go in and I could like paint out some of that background. Okay, but that takes time. And you're probably thinking, Dave, you should have just made your mask perfect to begin with. Then you wouldn't have to go back and fix stuff. You're right, I should have. It's easier to get a mask perfect the first time than to go back and fix stuff. It's a real bummer to take a paintbrush and try to mask that stuff out. Okay, but I'm not talking about that. How can I fix this thing? I could just paint it. Now, you can't always get away with this, but notice how this screen is mostly black in this corner. Okay, so what I can do is, well, I have a mask, so I can't paint outside of this, but I can make a new layer. So I'm gonna go new layer. I'm gonna use that eyedropper to select this color. And then I'm just gonna very carefully paint that. Now, I could paint it, or I could just make a selection that is the shape of that monitor. Let's see what I can do here. Ooh, I didn't do a very good job, but it's okay. Okay, and then I'm gonna fill that with the color I used, the eyedropper. Like I want this color. Okay, fill, Alt Delete, Control D, deselect. And you're like, hey, that looks pretty good. It does. So it's okay to do stuff like that if it's possible. Sometimes it's just not possible. Sometimes it's just too complicated, but maybe you can copy and paste something. Maybe you can try to fix it. Go for it if you can. I'm not going to talk too much about it. But I do want to combine. See, here's the problem. Now I have two layers that make up this gamer, and I can't really combine them because she's a smart object. So what do? I would just link them. So like this is what, computer edge. I gotta name it. It's just a computer edge. I'm gonna select both of these layers, and I'm going to. You're not gonna let me link them. Okay, I'm gonna link them. So there's a link at the bottom of your layers. If you link layers, they'll move together. And you're like, you're probably wondering why I'm doing all of that. Because I don't want to get rid of my mask and my smart object. If I merged the corner of that computer with my model and she's smart, they would combine to be one layer. And I don't want that. I want her image to be a smart object still. Okay, finally, some of you are probably looking at this and you're like, you kind of have this harsh edge here. Can you soften that edge? I can. I could do it in the mask. Watch. Here's my mask. If I get a soft brush, like here's a hard edge brush, soft brush. It's like it's on top. It's like the okay, let's get there. Dude, the top two brushes are soft and hard edge. So usually, and that's for a reason, because most people use these to soften edges. Now, or just to paint a soft airbrush effect. If I paint a soft black paintbrush stroke in my mask, it will kind of soften the edge. The bigger your brush, I can use the right bracket to make my brush bigger, left bracket makes it smaller. If I have black and if my mask is selected, if I paint a soft black line there, it will soften that edge. And maybe I could soften this, but it kind of looks like, well, I'm going to soften it. There. So I just wanted to fade those parts. So there she is. She's kind of small. It would have been perfect if she was bigger, right? So I still need some text. But just don't forget, you need to have a model. It could be a full figured model. The swatches can cover up your model a little bit if you want. If I wanted, I could try to put this pattern on her shirt, but you don't have to. I'm just going to leave it so that I could see. I could imagine her wearing a jacket like this, or maybe pants. I don't know. Who cares? But this is my intended audience, like girls who are into bright colors and like games, right? Whatever. Okay. Finally, I need some text. I want, let's see, do I tell you exactly what I want for type? Let's see. Okay. So I want a name for each swatch. So like so this one could be like game, here. I'm just going to do it real quick. Let's see. So a type. So now I want to select my text layer. I'm going to click on my type tool and let's work. And I'm going to do, Game Girl Plaid. That's the name of this first one. Did I spell plaid right? Okay. Now I just typed it. It's way too big, right? So what I can do is I can go back to my my character panel, which I don't have. I have my character panel here. So your character panel edits your type. Now, if you just select your type tool, most of your type settings will be up here in the control panel. So maybe you don't need to use the character panel. I like to use the character panel because it gives me all of the main options. Like for instance, I don't want green anymore. I'm going more for like pink. And maybe a lighter pink. Because at first I was going gamer, now I'm going gamer girl. Okay, now I want a different font. This is a boring font. So again, I can change it up here. As long as your type tool is selected, you can do it up here. Let's see what we got. I got a million fonts. I'm just gonna pick this one. Yeah, sure. Okay, but I would find one that kind of matches. Now it's like way too big. My font size is way too big. Again, I can use the character panel or I just change it up here. I'm gonna find a nice, comfortable, let's try 18. That's pretty good. Then I'm gonna move it into position. Now, if you want, you can use layer style effects on type too. Like for instance, I could do a glow, I could do a shadow. It's optional. So let's see, I want to do a glow because it's kind of bright neon-ish. So I'm going to go, and it fits my theme, right? So remember, you want to think, what's your theme? Solid colors, solid strokes, or maybe a glow, maybe a shadow, maybe nothing, right? It's up to you. But I want to try, I like to do outer glow. See what we got here. Okay, that's disgusting pea green. So let me just pick maybe like a light yellow. Let's see what that looks like. No, maybe a light pink or a light purple. Let's see. I'm being too picky here. Let's see, I'm just going to do it that. And then I can adjust my glow. My glow is too strong. What I recommend if you do an outer glow is don't do a big glow. Like less is more. So that's like, watch, I'll show you. I don't know if you can see it. So that's without, this is with. And you don't want it to be difficult to read. So maybe I think that's okay. You want it to be easy to read. Now, I did a lot of different complicated things to make that type. I could type it again and try to match that again. Nah, I'm just going to copy this word. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to hold the Alt key, duplicate it, or, gosh, did I spell plaid right? I hope I spelled plaid right. There's a spell check, right? And then I could copy it again, or I could just duplicate it this way, right? Layers, duplicate, okay. But I got to move it. I got to move it over. And now that I have my titles kind of in place, I can use my type tool and I can just, you know, like this is it's not punk. This is, I'm gonna say, you can be creative, right? So there it is. When you're done typing, you have to click on the check mark or another tool. There's like a check mark up here, but my zoom tools are in the way. And then this one's gonna be, I don't know, patriotic. Can we be patriotic? Patriotic plaid. So I don't care what you name your plaids, but think of a fun name. Think of a fun name. So there they are. Let me see if I spelled plaid right. Check spelling. It's under edit. I did. Okay. So you can check your spelling and that's it. So let's see if all my organization is good. I have my text in. Now you want to line these things up. We talked about that before. Text will be easy to line up. You can select all three of your names by holding Control and clicking on them. So I selected all three of these. Then I'm going to use my alignment tools up here. Let's see, I want them to be, what is this? Vertically aligned, centered, and spaced. This is what? Distribute horizontally. There. Now, it's easy to line up your text, but it is difficult to line up your boxes, your swatches, without throwing away your masks. And I don't want you to throw away your masks. So don't worry about perfectly lining up your swatches, but there's a lot of different things I talked about earlier. You could use a smart guide. You could drag a smart guide. It's not a smart guide, that's a guide. It's a ruler guide. You can move that and you can kind of line them up to that. You could use the grid to kind of help you. I don't care. If you have this guideline though, and you want to get rid of your guide, you just drag it right back to your ruler and let go and it should go away. That's a ruler guide. They call them guides, but like 20 years ago, they're called ruler guides because you drag them from your ruler. Okay, but that's it. So let me see if all my organization is good. I have my text in one group. I have my colorway, which is my 3 swatches. I have all 3 of those, and one plaid is normal, and then the other 2 plaids are changed in color by using adjustment layers. The adjustment layers have been clipped with they've been changed into a clipping mask so that they are applied directly to those other 2 plaids. If you need help with that, we'll talk about that. But I think hopefully you guys got that. If not, I'll show you again. And then finally, my background. My background has 2 images minimum plus a 3rd model image. Now, if you want to put your model outside of your background, that's fine. If you want to put your model in their own group, you can do that too. I don't care. But I just have my model in my background group. She's kind of near the top of it. She's fine. And I can change her. And I have different layers. You can use more than 2 layers for your background. I have like these 2 purples. I could even get another pattern. I could get a second pattern and put it in there and change stuff. It's up to you. But you want to make something that looks good. This is kind of looking good, but try to have fun with it and try to match your goal. What's your theme? One thing I would like though is, and this isn't on your rubric, so I'm not going to grade you against it, but I would like a name of your your idea, of your theme, right? Or your concept. Now, I'm not, so the only thing you're mandatory that you have to have is the names of your plaids. But I would like another text that names your theme. And mine's going to be Atomic Plaid, right? So have fun. It can be bigger. I'm going to make it a little bigger so it kind of stands out. So maybe this is 36. Maybe I want to do that outer glow. Let's see. Oh, whoops. Oh, now look, I accidentally made my Atomic Plaid layer outside of my text group. Well, I can just drag it into my text group. I can just drag it right on top of my text group and it puts it right inside. So just make sure all your text is in the same, right? And then I want this glow on Atomic Plaid. So I'm just going to hold the Alt key and copy my outer glow from my previous one. There it is. Yeah, it's okay. So there it is. I'm going to uncheck Show Transform Controls. So have fun with your project. Make it look good. This one looks okay. I would have preferred if she was bigger. Oh, one more thing. Look at how she really stands out. She's like a really, she's like really blue. And then the background is really purple. So maybe I want to make her a little more purple so that she isn't so interesting to look at. Remember, I want her to be interesting, but I want the plaids to really stand out. You want to think, what's the focus of your project? Well, the focus is the plaids, those swatches, right? So I'm going to find my, let's see, you know what I can do is maybe if I just move her underneath this purple, let's see what this does. That did it. So that's one solution. Another solution, I could have kept her on top, but I could have added like a little bit of purple with a color balance on her, maybe a clipping mask on her. I could have done that too. This works pretty good. So now she's less prominent. I wish she was bigger though. So if I was a student or if I was working for real, I would have searched for a larger image just to fill the space a little better. She's okay, but it would have been nice if she was at least double that size, right? But that's it. Oh, one more thing. We're not talking about like gutter and like trim, but don't put your text like right on the edge. Normally you want to have about 1/4 to 1/2 an inch from the edge of your paper for your text. And then we'll talk about that in the future. You probably talked about that in your intro class, but for today, don't normally use guides to set it up. And we're not going to set up those guides today, but just have your text about an inch. I'm sorry, not an inch, 1/2 an inch, or at a minimum 1/4 inch. But I would say 1/2 an inch. 1/2 an inch feels pretty good. That way it's not right on the edge. And that's it. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to stop recording. Mine it looks okay. My other examples, I think, look better. Rugged Outdoorsman. Oh, here you see I have swatch 1, 2, and 3. You don't have to do that. You can just say just the name, Electric, Lava, Moonlight, right? This one I haven't finished yet, but I really like the background. And I like the colors. These colors really stand out against the blue background. So that's kind of nice. Here I did green. Notice that he's a little green. I added a little bit of green to him so that he kind of steps back and the plaids are more prominent. So again, that's it. So you want to think of a fun design, think of something that you're interested in. I'm going to stop recording. I'll answer any questions if we have any.